Hello, folks. Hello, folks.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Tonight we're examining Busch beer. Introduced in 1955 by Anheuser-Busch, their first new beer since Prohibition ended in 1933. It was sold regionally until 1979 when it became a national beer. Now let's look at who's, oh Lord, let's look at who's, phone's ringing, but it's probably political calls. Let's look at who's here tonight. Tonight is myself, Jay Terrio, Ronald Terrio from Louisiana. We've got, let's go down the line, Brandon from Mississippi, Brandon Burrell. We got Charles from Indiana, we got John from Indiana, we got Eric from Massachusetts, and the Brister, Jeff Brister from Mississippi as well.
All right.
So when it first came out, it was called Busch Bavarian beer, and then they decided to change it up and just make it Busch beer. And it was a big, big beer. You remember they used to sponsor a lot of car racing and stuff, and they had a lot of advertisements. You don't see too many advertisements anymore. It's still the #9 selling beer in America, though, and that's nothing to sneeze at. It used to be higher alcohol. I was looking at some old literature from...
I wouldn't sneeze at that.
No, and I was looking at some literature from the 90s, late 90s, and it was 4.9% alcohol.
Huh.
You notice now it's listed at
4.3.
Yeah, it dropped to 4.6, and now they got it at 4.3. I don't know why, but it did drop, and I have no explanation for that. Anybody want to tell the audience about awards that it's won?
Awards.
Awards.
It's won awards. We all know that.
Yes.
Busch.
Silver medal and gold medals at Great American Beer Festival. Silver and gold. Well, I'm pouring mine. Look at this thick white head, man.
Let me pour my beer. Let me do that.
And then it's got a lot of bubbles clinging to the side. It's a straw appearance. Oh, boy, it's really, it's bubbling. I'm letting mine breathe. Now, I never really knew anybody who drank Busch beer when I was growing up, personally. I just started kind of testing it out in 1996 when I started doing my beer drinking project, which I'm still working on after 18 years. I don't know what your experience is with it. You could let us know if anybody wants to speak up. Your experience with Busch beer.
I think people in my region and in my age range definitely. I for value, when it comes to value, I see a lot of people drinking natural light, natural ice, Pabst Blue Ribbon. Normally, I don't see people going to the store and buying Busch beer. I don't see it as a beer that people go out and just are looking to grab for the weekend. I just don't see that. I don't know why. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I think my store sells more Busch Light, but the big seller in my store is Natural Light, man. That's like the king, man, of the cheap beer. Natural Light and Keystone Light, man.
My brother drank.
They did have that big push Natural Light did with the commercials in the last year or so. There has been more Natural Light commercials out there.
That's right. Yeah, Natural Light was the first beer in space, apparently.
Wow.
They got a video of the Natty Light's got a video on their YouTube page of the beer in space.
Natural Light. Well, now Busch Light came out in 1989, and we also have today Busch Ice, which came out in '94. We have the Busch Signature, which just hit the market and might have been late 2013 actually, and but it's mainly around in 2014 it came out. Brandon,
I think that's one of the best new adjunct lagers that's come out in a long time.
I haven't tried. Well, I gotta see if I can track that down. Like I say, maybe the distributor needs a phone call to find it.
Yeah, I would definitely call them because my experience in the past is when I call people, distributors, they'll tell me. I've had so much luck with my local Anheuser-Busch distributors. They've actually told me go to this particular store and they have it.
Gotcha.
Very helpful. Some of these beer companies now have these finders where you get on there and you type in your zip code and it'll show you all the stores close to you that have the beer. I know that's how I found my old Milwaukee. It told me exactly which store had it. That was very convenient.
Got it.
We're going to do the Busch signature next week, which I think, well, I don't want to get into all that yet because I got some exciting things to say about that. You know, they changed Busch recently. They changed Busch's label back to the, not the original label, but a label that's reminiscent of the original label.
Right. And it doesn't say Bavarian. It says product of USA.
Right. It does give the alcohol content on the side of the beer, which is impressive.
Don't you see Bavarian, Chuck?
Introduced as Bavarian.
Yeah.
Now, I'll tell you what, though. I kind of prefer this iconic Busch can that ran from, with some slight alterations, but it ran pretty much from 1979 till 2013 when it was officially replaced. You know, this is the one I was used to seeing. You know this can.
Right.
Right.
I know I've seen that.
This is your famous iconic Busch can. But anyway, let's get into the aroma. I'm smelling sweet American-style lager. I mean, I don't know what to say about it.
This isn't out of the ordinary if you drink American beer. It's sweet, like you said, it's sweet. It's got the corn. It has that typical Anheuser-Busch kind of undistinguishable graininess to it.
Yeah. Anybody picking up anything offensive? I'm not. I'm not picking up anything extraordinary. I'm not picking up anything bad either.
You could take the funkiness out of Budweiser. This is what this would smell like.
That's a pretty good point.
Interesting, yeah. Sure.
Yeah, this one has, it does have some little, I don't know how to describe that aroma which you pick up on American-style beers. It's kind of some Mexican beers too. It's kind of a
Grain husk.
yeah. Oh, I guess it's corn syrup. I don't know. It's not.
Might have like, it may have a slight wet cardboard or papery kind of a smell.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it.
It smells
That's
like
about it, really.
It smells like going fishing on Saturday.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
One thing I noticed is the head compared to that Bud Ice we did last week. It went away about 5 times faster.
Yep.
I don't know if
Much faster.
It
I don't
went
know
like,
if that's. I don't even know if that went away a lot faster than that Bud Ice did. Mine's completely
it's
gone.
a worthy point because
Yep.
it's a character of the beer. I am getting a little lacing on the side, but you know it's minimal.
Yeah. Very well carbonated, as you can
Oh,
see.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm getting a little bit of lacing and very carbonated. I'm not getting much on the smell, though.
I'm definitely getting a smell, but it's not anything, you know, notable.
Over the top.
The
Beer,
sweet corn in
you
the
know it
right.
smell.
Not
Smells
taste-
like beer.
No.
I smell my whole life. Y'all ready to go with the taste? I'm thirsty,
Yeah.
man.
Let's go again. Cheers, everybody. Ding.
Cheers.
Cheers, clink.
Clear and bright as mountain air, and I think that's an accurate statement. It's very light and airy, if you want to call it airy. It's got a note even before the taste of American kind of beer is it's thin and watery mouthfeel. It's very mild, extremely mild.
Yeah, it's a chuggable beer. I mean, this thing was made for major slam usage.
I find that a lot with these beers in the economy or in the value brand in the value category, that they all have that same really easy drinkability and that really light and watery mouthfeel. A lot of them are kind of the same in that regard.
Yeah, everybody feels free to speak up. Whatever you want to interject. I think he's right though. It's just like
I got no lacing out of it. Like,
No
I feel like I
lacing?
need to swirl it just
None.
to get some head going again.
I've
Yeah.
got some now. Look, I've got some.
Yeah,
I got a little
I don't know.
bit.
It's there. It's
Yeah,
there.
you do get it lightly.
What percentage of Busch drinkers do you think know or care what lacing is?
0. Point 0.0001.
And most of those
Oh,
people
make beer.
right now in this hangout.
I saw somebody buying some Busch beer today. Oh no, I'm sorry, they were buying Miller Lite. I talked to a distributor and he said, well, it doesn't sell too well at this particular store that we were in. He said, but for whatever reason, he wouldn't say anything negative. He just said, for whatever reason, it's a super popular beer in the predominantly black neighborhoods. He said, I don't know why. He said, they sell it like crazy. And I said, well, that's interesting. You know, he didn't understand why either, but he said it sells like mad. And so common sense, they really focus on, obviously going to focus on where it sells, right? So I might go into some of those stores and see maybe some Busch signage or something, you know, promoting.
Exactly.
That'd be interesting. Some in-store advertisement.
Yeah, point of sale. You don't really see any Busch commercials on TV anymore. I don't recall seeing any.
I haven't ever seen any.
Well, I've seen them, but they say has a Busch beer, yeah.
I think this beer back 20 years ago was one of the top beers probably out there. Now as other beers have come available and the movement of other things, I think you're seeing the decline of the sale of the Busch. But the light beers is what's killed a lot of these old typical beers like this.
Yep.
But it's still number 9. Now that's something to be said. I mean, it's like I was looking at the figures. The figures were like it was like $700 million.
I don't know.
That's not bad when you don't promote it at all. Really.
I'm almost convinced that if you put a beer on the market at a certainly low enough price, people are gonna say, well, gee, I can't really pass that deal up. I might as well at least try it.
Right, and I can go to Walmart right now and I can buy an 18-pack of Busch bottles. Okay, bottles, 18 packs, but $9.97.
Not bad at all.
$9.97.
It's almost as cheap as Old Milwaukee and the Beast beer.
Man, this thing is a light and watery mouthfeel, and it's a crisp, clean, refreshing, and dry. And it has a certain Anheuser-Busch character. Don't you find Anheuser-Busch beers have a certain character? Oh, what is that? A big quart?
Yeah, I bought a 32-ounce quart for $1.19.
$1.19?
For a quart, yeah.
Yeah, this one was $1.09. You see, it was a little more expensive here. It was $1.09 for the can, and it was a pint can, and it was $2.19 for the quart bottle.
Gotcha.
But that Walmart deal is the best, man. $9.97 for an 18-pack. To me, this is just me talking now. This beer is a good deal for that kind of price because there's nothing really off about it, and you could just chug them without like worrying about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's good. It's light. It's watery. It's very drinkable. It doesn't have a terrible aftertaste like some of the other cheaper beers. Mm-hmm. It's just good and clean. It's better than the light, I think.
Yeah. Is everybody here drinking out of a can except for me? Because I'm drinking out of this 32-ounce bottle. I poured it into a glass, but I literally have no head. It went away in about 3 seconds.
That looks like Keystone Premium, that red label Keystone.
You're right.
Yeah,
that is like the headless beer, man. Keystone Premium's like that. But you know, this is very similar to Keystone Premium because it's 4.3% alcohol. It's low calories. It's inexpensive.
Extremely dry, and then after it dries, you just get a big watery taste after it dries. That's about the finish I can say about that.
That's the clear and brightness that you see on the label.
Yeah. But I think, you know, you talk about budget beers. I've bought so many budget beers in the past, and they have some. They're not sold in Louisiana anymore.
Yep.
But you can buy them in like some places like Walgreens has that Big Flats 1901.
Big Flats 1901.
Oh wait, let me rescind what I said. You can buy these in Louisiana. I was at Trader Joe's yesterday, and they had this name tag beer.
I've had that one.
Simpler Times Pilsner.
I've only heard your opinion of it, and it's not very good.
Oh look.
Let me go a second and say something about the Trader Joe brand, okay?
All right. Okay? All right.
If you get on the internet, if you Google Trader Joe brands, you take a look at most of the big craft breweries that are making those brands, and it will surprise the shit out of you.
Mm-hmm. I know, but let me tell you who makes name tag Simpler Times and Simpler Times.
Is it Minhas?
It's Minhas, and that company is an atrocity. They make this Boxer Lager. I'm convinced Boxer Lager is the same thing as that name tag, and it's wretched. wretched. I mean, it's
They don't make game day ice, do they?
Huh?
They don't make game day ice, do they?
No, that's the infamous City Brewing.
Oh, well, they're both pretty infamous.
Yeah, and so let me say this. Look,
We're all starting to burp.
that's understandable that you would burp. Now let me say this. What do you benefit from? What do you benefit from saving? What are you going to save for an 18-pack on name tag? 15 cents. But you're going to get something that's going to taste $10 less quality than Busch beer. I think Busch beer is like super premium compared to that stuff I just showed.
Can't imagine why it's not.
Believe me, if you did a side-by-side blind taste test, you could pick it out in less than 30 seconds. You would say, this is Busch, and this is the other garbage. I'm telling you. People say this is a trash beer. It is not a trash beer. I have drank trash beers. I drank a trash beer 2 weeks ago, and I got so angry I slung the can at the fence.
God.
That's true trash. People don't know what true trash is until they have it. Anyway, I'll be quiet and let other people talk.
This beer is just really, really good when it's really, really, really cold and you're really, 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 really thirsty. And you need something that you can just down and there's not too much, it doesn't taste too much like anything when you're just thirsty and want to drink.
I am thirsty. It was really cold. And I will say this. It does have a little bit of a hop bitterness at the end. I mean a little bit. You know what I mean? Like a kiss of the hops, as Schlitz used to say.
Typical spicy.
Yes. Yeah, there.
I'll tell you what I think this beer is. This is one of those beers you want to pull out of an ice cold cooler.
Yeah.
When you're sitting somewhere camping out.
That's exactly right.
Or at a barbecue.
You're right. It's a camping beer. It's a fishing beer. It's a hunting beer, and they really
It's a beer pong beer.
Beer pong beer. Yes.
You could say that. Now, Brandon, you're having trouble pouring it out of that 25-ounce can?
No, just another 12-ounce can. I had trouble. I try to pour it out of the can, it gets all over the place.
You know,
Well,
it did that to me as well.
You know what? Mine did too.
Yep. We all
I tried pouring out a 12-ounce can. I spilled just as much on the table as I did my mug.
No, I didn't spill a drop. I don't have
Put all 25 ounces of mine in this glass.
Now, Charles, what are you saying? Charles saying you're not right. What is Charles talking about? Charles is sending me very, like, cryptic chats.
I was chatting with Brandon. Yep.
Oh, Brandon. Okay. Oh, a group chat. Okay. Seriously, what I know about technology. Well, you know, I've been drinking Busch beer off and on since 1996 when I started drinking beer, because I never drank before age 27. I never drank beer. And, you know, I'm cool with it. It's not anything I think about or, like, crave. I never really crave it much. But I wouldn't mind going and get an 18-pack and getting them ice cold.
You guys remember last year when they came out with that lure can that was kind of, like, hard to find?
The what?
The lure can that they came out with last year?
Lure can?
It was like a fisherman's, like, type can.
Oh, the Hunter Series can.
That was a contest.
Camouflage can.
Yeah.
No, it was a fish. It showed a fish, and the guy was catching like a bass, right?
Yeah. It was like, it would come up in certain packages of Busch, but it would only be like one.
If you could find the can, there was some kind of contest with it. Yeah.
I've got one of those cans.
To try to find one, I could never find one. I probably bought like 4 30-packs of Busch last year just to try to find that can, and I never did get one.
Now, Jay, didn't these back in the day come in a 10-ounce can also?
I don't know why people are calling me. No one ever calls me until I get on this, and then they call me. I think it used to be in a 10-ounce can. If I go, they still make Coors in the 10-ounce can. If I go to the grocery store over here, I think we got 7-ounce Miller High Life. We got 10-ounce Budweiser. We got 8-ounce Budweiser. Why anybody would want to get an 8-ounce beer? You could drink it in one go. Excuse me. Yeah, John, I think it might still be made in a 10-ounce can, in fact.
Now, I've got some of the original 10-ounce cans of when a lot of this stuff first come out.
Yeah, I have no personal interest in a 10-ounce can. I feel like I'd never want to drink anything out of a 10-ounce can.
I don't think I want anything less than a 25-ounce can anymore.
I used to work with this lady. When I used to teach school, I used to work with this lady, and she only drank, like most people, you know how most people are, she only drank Miller Lite, and she only drank it out of 10-ounce cans.
Oh, okay.
She had a football game on, you know, if her and her husband and a group of people were watching a football game, she would drink those Miller Lights out of 10-ounce cans all night long. Now, I'm sure she got pretty drunk because even as low alcohol as Miller Lite is, if you're drinking 10-ounce can, you're probably drinking 2 sips out of each can, right? If you're knocking those back all night, I mean, you're going to feel it even with that, right?
Right.
But you're not going to get a lot of calories. Well, anyway, I'm cool with this beer. I mean, it has a place. People say it has no place. It should not exist. I don't agree with that. That's a concept I don't like.
If you don't think that has a place and you've never been to somebody's house for a party or something on a weekend, or gone fishing, or watching a football game, you've never done those things apparently.
Or for a fish fry, or for anything I said, if you want to make a beer batter, this is a really good beer to use for making a beer batter, in my opinion, because the flavor is not very strong in this beer, and for a beer batter, the beer shouldn't be the star of it. So there you go.
Yeah, I think Brandon's right.
Don't
use the name tag for making a beer batter, though.
No, that's for KFC chicken.
Let's step back and take a real look at this beer. The people say that this beer does not belong, but it belongs somewhere. It wouldn't be the 9th best-selling beer going.
Correct.
I mean, it's been around for how many years and still going strong?
59 years.
I mean, they've done something right.
Correct. I think they make it to
59 years.
I think they make it to a pretty high quality standard. I don't think they're using trash ingredients, and I don't think they're slinging it together. I think if you went to the Anheuser-Busch brewery, you would notice that they would be extremely careful with Busch beer. They got to protect their brand. It's a well-known brand. I don't think they're screwing around with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Agreed.
It gets a 43 from the Bros, which is awful. And out of 1,334 reviews and ratings on BeerVicket, it gets a 49.
What about Rapier? I bet it gets a 1 or a 0.
I did 0. 1. It's a 1 for style.
That's a joke to me. That's a joke. This is not an awful beer.
How the hell does beer or rate beer do their style?
Well,
rate?
I don't know. It's pale lager, just a pale lager.
Yeah.
So what's a 100 in the style? What's a 100 in the style?
Agreed. It gets a 2.5 on Untapped. That's just average from all reviewers. It gets a 2.5 on Untapped. So there you go. And Untapped is, there are a lot of craft beer on Untapped as well, but there are also a lot of people also drink Bud Light.
My thought process: if there's a 0 on the style, there has to be a 100 in the style somewhere.
Right.
The Bros gave Carling beer from Molson Coors Canada a 90. And they also gave Simple Times Lager an 84, so there you go.
I bet you the Bros could not tell Carling from Busch beer in a blind taste test.
Yeah, they gave PBR.
Now, Brandon, you were saying 2.5 out of what, 5?
Yeah, an Untapped, they get a 2.5 out of 5. Yeah, it's pretty much.
I give it a 3.5 on Untapped.
I definitely would say it's better than that. But considering all the other reviews and stuff like that, that's definitely in line with a lot of people who are on Untapped. There are also a lot of people on Untapped as well who give beers like that good reviews. So,
but you know what? I'm going to sit down one day. I'm going to do a study. And I'm going to take 50 people, farmers and average people, and just say, what beer do you drink? And I guarantee you, none of them is going to say anything but Busch Light, or Miller Lite.
Right, they're
I've
not
been
going
thinking about that. I've been thinking about doing this for a long time.
Yeah, they're not going to say Terrapin rye cubed.
One's bound to say 1050. Come on.
I'm not ripping on those beers. I did Terrapin Rye Cube the other day. I mean, it's awesome. You know, I did Weihenstephaner Vitus yesterday. Yesterday evening, I drank Weihenstephaner Vitus. That's about as close to 100 as you're going to get. But hell, it's a different type beer. It's $3.99 for one bottle.
Yeah.
Different type. When you rate it, you have to rate it on the style and the type of beer that it is. You can't rate it overall.
Right. I'm not going to compare a Corvette to a Chevy Cruise.
No.
Yeah, they're both cars, but they're not made for the same purpose.
Exactly.
It doesn't make any sense.
Exactly. I would have said comparing the Corvette to the AMC Gremlin, but there you go.
Yeah, it'd be the same thing. It'd be saying, well, my uncle had a 1978 Gremlin, and it wasn't nearly as fast as a 1978 Corvette. Well, damn, I guess it wasn't. It wasn't made to be. Excuse my language, but I get irritated with that kind of like nonsensical stuff. It's like saying, you know, I talked about this in the past. It's like saying, well, you know, comparing a western to a science fiction movie, or a romantic comedy to a Godzilla movie.
A pickle to a ribeye.
Right. It's like saying, well, I watched The Sting, which won Best Picture in 1973. I thought that was a way better movie than Godzilla vs. Mothra.
You're probably right.
Better acting. Well, yeah, common sense, but Godzilla vs. Mothra was pretty solid in the Japanese monster genre. Well, anyway, I don't want to get. I think everybody with sense can grasp these simple concepts. For a cheap budget beer, which Anheuser-Busch says that's what it is. If you get on their website, they're not claiming that it's as good as St. Bernard's Habit 12. They say this is a budget beer, and we are proud of this budget beer. If you want to save money, buy it. You'll probably like it. And I don't have a problem with that. It's not false advertising.
No.
But you know what?
Bush
Here's what I got an issue with is these beers right now, people call them adjunct lagers.
Correct.
I don't remember them 30 years ago calling adjunct lager. I don't remember 30 years ago calling a budget beer. These were top of the line, the best beers you could buy.
Well, wait.
20 years ago.
Wait, not Bush.
And all of a sudden, they're budget beers.
Wait, not Bush. Bush was introduced to be a budget beer now.
Mm-hmm.
But, okay, when they introduced Bush in 1955, it was introduced to be a budget beer. But it wasn't introduced to be a garbage beer.
Right.
They've always had garbage beers like your little bottom dwellers that only dedicated alcoholics drink because they want to save 15 cents, you know. But that we don't look at those type of, you know, garbage beers. There's an interesting backstory to Busch beer, and it has something to do with Major League Baseball and a stadium naming rights issue, which would be interesting to look at. But a lot of people don't know that Busch beer, in a lot of ways, was invented because of a baseball stadium naming rights issue.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Then also, wasn't it also an alternative to Old Milwaukee as well?
I'd have to get the time. I've been trying to find the timelines on that, and I haven't had success. I don't know if Schlitz came out with Old Milwaukee first, or if Busch came out with Busch beer first. But I think Schlitz did come out with Old Milwaukee first in 1955, and then Anheuser-Busch hurried up and came out with their own budget beer. But the interesting story is that the Busch family bought the St. Louis Cardinals baseball team in I don't know what year, but they decided they were going to rename the stadium. There was a baseball stadium in St. Louis which has been torn down for many years, but they were going to rename the stadium Budweiser Stadium, okay? The first corporate name for a stadium, I guess. One of the first, Wrigley Gum had Wrigley Field. All right, so, but they said, no, that's... The baseball league said that would be very in very bad taste. You can't name a stadium after a beer. So he said that August Busch, the owner of Budweiser, said, "Oh, okay." He said, "Well, I'll tell you what. My father was a very good man. I'm going to name the stadium after him, and I'm going to call it Busch Memorial Stadium." And then right after that, he came out with a beer called Busch. So,
nice timing.
You couldn't say anything about it. You see what I mean? So that was clever. And if you go to that stadium today, Busch Stadium, still Busch Stadium today, you can buy a can of this beer, a 16-ounce can. There's only one problem. It's $9 a can.
Yep. Welcome to baseball.
Oh,
They
yeah.
charge way too much.
Oh, yeah.
That's how much a 30 rack is.
I can remember going to Busch Gardens and getting free samples of Busch.
That's right.
Yeah,
They got out of the amusement park business, though. But anyway, everybody can get
the change in NASCAR from Busch Series to Nationwide Series.
Yeah,
it was the Busch Series. That's right. They kind of gave up on all those sponsorships. I remember they used to always show drinking beer.
And Busch Series became.
My final thought on Busch beer is that it's okay. I would rather drink Busch Ice because it's stronger, and I would not want to drink Busch Light because it's too light. But it does have its place. Actually, Busch Light sells better than Busch. It's the number 7 beer, and I would definitely rather drink Busch Signature, which we're going to look at next week, because I think Busch Signature is dynamite. But anyway. That's my final thought. I'm cool with it. I don't have an issue with it. I have no animosity towards Busch. I would like everybody else to give a final thought on it.
I'll go next. It's a good drinkable beer. It's good, clean, refreshing, good finish. You're not gonna make it in a bourbon barrel with cocoa nibs and shit like that. So it is what it is.
Yep.
Right. It's not aged in rum barrels, but hey, it's cool. All right, Brandon.
I think it's one of those easy drinking beers that has its place. So if you want to go on a fishing trip or you have a party or whatever, or for any other application you need, it's a really good beer for that purpose. And it fits the style, and it works for that. And it doesn't hurt your budget either.
Right.
It may be the best budget beer on the market, really, when you think about it. But anyway, Eric?
I think Brandon pretty much said what's there to be said about the beer. It definitely has you definitely can't say it's bad. It doesn't have any off flavors. Nothing sick or nasty about the beer. It definitely is one of the best budget beers. I think I would probably buy like Natty Ice or any other ice beer, maybe even Milwaukee's Best over this. But there's nothing wrong with the beer. It's got its place, and if you're the kind of person that's giving one of these kind of beers a 0 out of 100, I want to know what is only slightly better than this. Let us know what's wrong with the beer in the comment section below, and we'll take your thoughts and considerations into consideration.
Right. Well, people say stuff like tastes like horse urine and stuff like that. That's not a credible argument. Now we're going to go to John and then Jeff Brister, the Brister. What are your final thoughts on Busch?
Well, you know what I'm going to say. These are iconic beers. These are legacy beers. These are beers that's been around, and they're going to be around a long, long time. Am I going to buy this beer again? Sure, I'm going to buy this beer again. I buy it every once in a while. I'm going to continue to buy it. But, I mean, what it is what it is. There's not 20 good things we can say about it. There's not 40 bad things we can say about it. It's a budget beer. It's what they're calling an adjunct lager beer. I mean, it's an Anheuser-Busch product. People don't like Anheuser-Busch products. I'm like Eric. Shoot us a message. Tell us what you don't like about this beer. What's the bad taste about it? What's the bad? Just tell us what's bad about it.
We're not going to hate you for it. No. We're just curious.
We're not going to hate you, or we're not going to cut you off, and we're not going to make fun of you either. Okay, Brand.
Curious.
Yeah.
All right. So here's my explanation. If somebody told me, okay, we got 5 beers in the fridge: Budweiser, Bud Light, Miller Lite, Coors Light, and Busch. Which one would you pick? I'd pick Busch any day over those other 4.
Wow.
It's definitely the easiest one to put down, I would tell you that.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm not going to sit up here and say I think it's better than Budweiser. I can't honestly say that, but I think it could rival Budweiser. Now, I would rather drink Budweiser because I'm getting 5% alcohol. I'll admit that. But I can't say that I would rather have. But what beers did you name again, Jeff? You said them fast. I couldn't
Bud
register that in my
Light,
short-term memory.
Miller Lite, Coors Light, and then Bush. I think
I would definitely rather have it over the light beers you named.
I picked Bush and then four.
I'll go along with that, except for the
Most popular
Budweiser.
lager beers that I can think of
Yeah, right.
that most people drink.
Yeah, that's a good list. That's a good list. Well, you know, I think we beat this horse to death. There's not much more to be said about it. If I was at a get-together and somebody said, would you want a Busch beer, I'd say, sure.
Sure, why not?
But I might say, do you have Busch Ice? Do you have Busch Ice?
Absolutely. And I would implore you on this Labor Day weekend to at least try a Busch and see if you like that beer. Happy Labor Day, people.
Yeah, at least give it a chance. Like John Lennon said, all we are saying is give Busch a chance.
He said that. Wait a minute.
He said something like that.
There's nothing wrong with
Ron
the
Jeremy
little
said that one.
Ryan.
All right,
Jeremy.
well,
place.
I'm going to pretend I didn't hear what Eric said. Anyway, thanks, folks, for watching this very exciting and very interesting video production.
Busch.
So you